Welcome to Algebra 2, Lesson 2-2, Standard Form of Quadratic Function. We'll continue with example 3, the application stage. Interpret the graph of a quadratic function. The graph of the function f of x equals negative 10x squared plus 700x minus 6,000 shows the profit a company earns for selling headphones at different prices. What is the maximum profit of the company can expect to earn? So let's look at the graph here. We have a price, we have a demand, and we get a revenue. And the profit depends on the selling price. So we're going to start, it looks like the graph starts from 10. So if it goes less than 10, you get a loss, right? It's not a profit, right? If it gets over $60, it's not going to sell out. So you'll also lose money. So only when the pricing is greater than 10 and less than 60, you get a profit, right? At exactly 10 and at exactly 60, you'll get a 0 profit, which means no profit. So greater than 10, less than 60, not including 10 and 60. If you want to get a profit. So that's what you can see easily from this graph. What is the maximum profit you can get using this model? Right here. This is the maximum. So it looks like a little bit more than 6,000, right? So using our function, you can figure out the exact vertex. But yeah, that is exactly what we want to figure out. What is the maximum profit that this company can expect to earn? So at about 35, it seems like you have a maximum price, right? Because 10 and 60 would be your x-intercepts, the axis of symmetry will be right in the middle between 10 and 60, right? So 60 minus 10 would be 50. 50 divided by 2 is 25. So 25 plus 10 would be the distance from 10 to the axis of symmetry. 25 plus 10 is 35. So we know that our vertex will have 35 as h, but we don't know k, and that would be our maximum profit, right? So first you need to know how to read the graph. We already know h is 35, right? You can also use our h equation, our h formula, negative b over 2a. So if in the equation, you know that b is 700 and a is negative 10. So putting in that information into the h formula, you'll be able to figure out that h is 35 as well. But just looking at your graph and figuring it out also works. But sometimes they're not as accurate when you look into the graph. Maybe this is 59. Maybe this is 11, not 10, right? So you also want to check by using your equation. And then you're going to find the y-coordinate because that's going to answer our question. In your function, you can figure out by plugging in 35 in your function. So f of 35 would be our k. And if you plug it in into your equation, negative 10 times 35 squared plus 700 times 35 minus 6,000 would be 6,250. And so our vertex is 35, 6,250. And so that means the selling price of $35 per item gives a maximum profit of $6,250. So that is our answer. If we want to maximize our profit, we want to sell the price for $35. And this is really applicable for companies because, companies have to decide their selling prices, right? And so in order to maximize profit, you don't want to be too expensive so that people don't buy. You don't want it to be super cheap so that you don't make money, right? So in order to be just right, you need to be able to find this golden price. When using equation, you'll be more accurate than just guessing, right? So this is very applicable. Let's look at try number 3 and see if you can do it by yourself. A water balloon was thrown from a window. The height of the water balloon over time can be modeled by this function, y equals negative 16x squared plus 160x plus 50. What's the maximum height of the water balloon after it was thrown? So follow the steps we looked at in the example above and see if you can figure it out by yourself. Pause the video and come back when you're ready for answers. Okay, are you ready? All right, so you're going to use both the graph and the equation to figure out your answer and see if your answer is reasonable. So here you don't really have the x-intercepts that are good to see, right? So you know your x-intercept is somewhere above 10. You know another x-intercept is somewhere below 0. So how do you really figure it out? Well, in this case, you really have to use the formula for h, right? So here, you need to first compute your h and then figure out your k so that you can figure out the maximum height. Maximum height is our k in your vertex, right? H will be this, and then k would be this number. So first we need to figure out h. Again, h will be negative b over 2a. So your equation tells you what b and a is. B is 160, a is negative 16. So negative 160 over 2 times negative 16 would give you an h of positive that's 80, and then divide by 4, divide by 5, so positive 5. So h is positive 5. And then in order to figure out your k is f of 5. So plug in 5 for each x. And then you'll be able to figure out that this is 450. So h is 5, k is 450, but you have to interpret this in real life. So write down your answer in words. After 5 seconds, the balloon will reach its maximum height of 450 feet. And 450 feet would be your final answer. Okay? All right, so check your answers and see if you got it correct. If you did, good job. We'll continue with the next example in the next video.